afternoon, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader, 4:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 17th, 2023. This isn't financial advice, it's educational. Click the subscribe, the bell, share the video, click the thumbs up. Intraday updates on Twitter at Wall Street Tra 12. If you have any videos, sorry, not videos, cryptos or stocks you want covered on the next video, please add your comments below. Put them in the comments. You have to be on YouTube for that. In the meantime, let's go over to Gala. A couple of things everyone should know about Gala. Number one, obviously a gaming platform. If you aren't aware, it is one of the biggest gaming platforms. In fact, they have 1.3 million monthly active users, and this number was taken back in November. They have evolved a couple of more titles since then. So there's approximately 15 titles, 15 to 16 titles or so, a couple of simulators, a couple of real games, et cetera, created by the guy who created Zynga. So Zynga is a big gaming platform, very recently taken over by Take-Two Interactive back in 2022. Now, players in this particular ecosystem can actually not only create little, their own assets within, the metaverse that they have, or within, the simulators, the simulation games they have, but they can actually monetize them and they can sell them and they can trade them and all that good stuff. So that's really interesting, I thought. In addition, if you stake a node, you have some say in terms of how the games are created and what the rules are and how the rules should change. So it's a lot of gamer driven, it's a great gamer driven ecosystem. So back in 2022, in the event that you've had your head in the sand with all of the crypto volatility, Gala Games partnered with a few different key areas. One was with Epic Games to launch its first blockchain game called Grit. That game became available on the Epic Games Store. So that was the first major entry into more expansion of the Gala platform. The second point is around Gallium Studios. This company is actually the ones who actually made SimCity, which is an old school, one of the first simulators that came out back in the day. Anyway, one of these old timer guys from Gallium Studios actually wants to partner with Gala and actually build a new video game on the platform. So that's a big deal. The third point is really around the Upland partnership, and this really helps to expand and connect Upland's ecosystem with Gala's ecosystem, which means that if I have created a sword in one of the simulation games on Gala, I can go ahead and create an NFT of that sword, and I can go and move that sword into the Upland ecosystem, and vice versa, because they all operate within the Ethereum platform. Anyway, it's more of a cross-platform economy type of thing they're trying to go for. But nonetheless, it's a pretty big platform. We'll go right into that right now. So if you go over to Gala's website, in case you haven't seen it, you get all these games over here. So there's a dozen or so, at least on the gaming side. I actually played one of them. It's a little clunky. I'm not gonna lie. It could be because my PC is a little bit dated, but certainly, it's reminiscent of the Zynga type games that I've played before in the past. So definitely a lot going on here. They are building it out, so it's a little early phase in my view on Gala, but just given the number of people using it, it is significant. 1.3 million active users per month is nothing to squint at. Okay, so a couple of other things that have just happened, which is this. Probably a lot of you have known about it. There was a tweet by Gala on, saying that they have a partnership with The Rock and with Marky Mark. Well, apparently that's not exactly the case. So they had to delete the tweet. Apparently, the crypto price, surged by 60% and then took a fallback. But we'll go into the price action in a second. But in terms of market capitalization on this crypto Gala, it's about a $353 million crypto, but it's got a lot of dilution ahead. Now they don't tell you the percentage of the way there, so we'll just do the math. Going from 353 million currently market value to 1.7, man, we're probably 20 something, maybe around 20% of the way to getting fully diluted. So there's a lot of dilution in our view ahead. So that's one of the things that kind of turns me off on this particular crypto pair, but I would say that, it's a compelling area. Gaming is growing no matter what. If you can wait it out until they finally dilute it, or, as long as the dilution isn't so dramatic in one shot, that's not a bad thing. So let's flip over to the markets on Gala US dollar, and I'll just run through what I always run through, especially for folks that haven't seen this before. But there are a few different areas I look at. Just look at the yellow shaded area. Gala US dollar is the piece on the left. I look at that first because if I put my money into it, I put my money in dollars. If I look and I decompose what Gala US dollar really is, I have to look at the inner strength of Gala by itself, not to the dollar, but I would look at it to Bitcoin because I like to look at a comparison of one crypto, the altcoin crypto, to the index crypto, which I call Bitcoin. So this is the benchmark over here. This is just Bitcoin in my currency, and that's how I look at Bitcoin. And then Gala to Bitcoin is how I look at the strength of Gala. That's how these two things work. If you want to see the mathematical equivalent, it's very simple. Gala US dollar is equal to Gala Bitcoin multiplied by Bitcoin to dollar. That's the way it works. In the meantime, let's look at Gala US dollar first, and then we'll look at the inner strength and the benchmark second. The benchmark third, actually. So this is Gala US dollar. It looks slightly bearish here, meaning it might trek up a little more, but it looks like we are looking at a pattern which I consider an upward wedge. These things generally could be something that kind of comes over the end and starts coming down. So I think over time, we've got some time left before this thing exhausts, but it looks like, we've got till maybe another 4 to 5 days, possibly sooner, in terms of some bearish activity on the Gala pair. If you're a long-term holder, I hate to say it, but that's just the way I see it, as I call it as I see it, and this looks slightly bearish. But let's move over to the second pair, which is really the inner strength. Now, if I look at the inner strength of this thing, it looks pretty good. This is an upward pennant now, right? Because you have a descending here, you got an ascending there, and you've got a wick, right? It's a flagpole. So whenever you have something like this, it's generally a bullish sign. So you have to kind of, you have to be cautious before you sell right out, because you have to look at this particular pennant and say, looks sort of bullish. So you got to see what happens at the end. And again, this is probably going to be another 2 to 3 days to play out. And that's what you got to look for. And I'll just flip back over here. So just to tell you what we just looked at. So this looks bearish here on the US dollar pair. Gala to Bitcoin actually looks somewhat bullish. Now let's look over to Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin looks slightly bearish to me. And I can tell you why right here. First and foremost, looks like we also have something pretty similar to what we saw on the US dollar version of Gala, which is this ascending wedge, which might turn into a bit of a downside. So you got to keep your eye on that. But look, Gala is up 9% today. I think it's done phenomenal. If you got in down here, well, I would take some off the table, to be quite frank. But everyone's got to do what they got to do. So if you feel really strong about it in years to come, and you're a long-term holder type, then I'd say, let it ride. But at the same time, I would definitely not tell you to bet the farm on any crypto or anything, and I wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. But anyway, that's kind of the backdrop in terms of my view on Gala. I think overall, it's got some short-term prospects in terms of price action, but I wouldn't hold it too long if things start going south on this particular pair. If I look at Gala here, the bottom area of support right now is at 4.8 cents. Resistance right now 5.6. And then on the Gala Bitcoin pair, which is the inner strength, it's got resistance at 255 and support at 223, whereas we're right now at 237. Anyway, hope everyone's having a good day. Take care.